Yeah.
What are your thoughts on these Tradcons running around and saying religion this, religion that, and what's your thoughts on all that?
Well, I think there's a bunch of guys, particularly on Twitter, that I see who are, they promote this stuff, and I actually think it could be quite damaging for young men, because also the other thing that's really stupid is you get a lot of guys who are like in their 20s, and they've been with a woman for like maybe a year or 2 years or something like that, and they're like, yeah, man, just live the dream like me, just forget all this red pill nonsense, forget all this running around and banging hoes, you want to be with your girl and blah blah blah. It's like these guys haven't done the hard yards in monogamy. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to talk to someone about monogamy, talk to Rollo Tomassi, who's been married for like what, 27 years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe.
And he says no, don't do it.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But there used to be. I don't know if you know that guy Caleb Jones. He was a blogger called Black Dragon.
I don't, but
he had the name Black Dragon. His real name's Caleb Jones. But he used to talk about monogamy on his blog a lot, and he would basically say, "Look, I mean, first few years, great." First 2-3 years, it's amazing. It's brilliant. Who wouldn't like that? When you get into 5 years, you get into 10 years, you get into 15 years.
Yeah.
Now you're doing the hard yards. Now you're on the bloody, you're on the prison yard, aren't you? Like 50,
cage match, man.
Exactly. And that's when it gets tough. So I don't think people can really talk about monogamy and all this stuff unless they've really fucking done it. Do you know what I mean? For a length of time. And then maybe they can say, yeah, I've got some tips. I can teach you about like Dread Game or whatever it is to try and keep the excitement going. But
people underestimate how much frame you need to maintain that for years. Like, you could manage it for a month or two or a couple, maybe a year. But after like you said before, the 5th year, bro, the level of restraint and command you need for that to work, it's almost impossible to maintain. It really is, bro.
Yeah, and that's why I think people are looking at different models for this now. Like, if you look at, say, people like even the Tates or like Sterling or people like this, and they're sort of saying, yeah, we want to have kids, we want to pass on our genetic lineage, but it's not necessarily going to be just settling down. It's not going to be settling down one woman going and living in a small town somewhere. It's going to be like probably multiple women, probably in different locations, and they're looking for different ways to make it work. You know what I'm saying?
My thing with the Tradcons is that, I've said it before, I'll say it again, I think the nuclear family is the backbone of any thriving society. It's what works, right? But unfortunately, the conventions that kept it in place are no longer in place. Religion, shame, society, families, fathers, all these things have been destroyed thanks to feminism and modern day society. So it's like the things that kept women in check are no longer there. And I would argue the things that kept women in check are absolutely destroyed, and it's the other way around. Now we have things in place that incentivize women to do things that are not conducive to a long-term monogamous relationship. And who's ending the relationships? Who's more likely to be bored? It's not the men ending things, it's the women. So my thing is that in today's day and age, right, with these guys, because here's the thing with these Tradcons, they always say religion. Religion is not going to save you. If anything, it's going to put the blinders on you, and you think you're going to be saved. But what's up going to happen is your girl is going to be religious today and then go ahead and subscribe to feminism and liberalism tomorrow. So my thing is adapt to the situation. I agree with you, Troy. We're not going to fix it because women aren't going to regress on all the steps, all the work that they've done to get to this point of equality and feminism. I would argue that women have more rights and privileges than men do nowadays. So they're not going to go and concede and be like, you know what? Yeah, maybe we should get back in the kitchen. Yeah, there's a couple girls that do it here and there for social media, etc. The conservatives, if you guys know what I'm saying, right? To conserve themselves, right? They're saying that because they know they'll get clicks because it's the other way around. But most women, even these conservative chicks, they're capped. They're not really conservative. They're trying to get some clicks. They know that this is the way to go against the grain, because most women are what? Super liberal. I'm strong and independent. I'm going to do my thing. I don't see us going back to women being in the kitchens and putting aprons on. It's not happening because women aren't going to concede. So what I foresee is that if anything, it's going to continue to get worse. So what do we say? Yo, religion ain't going to save you, right? Your mom ain't going to save you. Morals isn't going to save you because these girls don't have morals anymore and they don't have the shame of religion or any of these other things. So you need to adapt to the marketplace and understand that you got to understand female nature for what it is. And a lot of these Tradcons just don't fucking get it, man.
Perfect example is Nico. This guy can't even control his own girls, man. So how you gonna keep something going for years?
This guy.
I'm just telling you, bro. Nico L. But yeah.
Well, I was going to use like the Crowder situation as the example.
Well, the Crowder situation is a classic example of it blowing up, isn't it? And then you got like Matt Walsh, and Matt Walsh banging on about it the whole time, and it's sort of like, okay, fine, he's still married. It would seem he's still in a successful marriage. Good for him. I mean, great. Let's hope that remains the case. But who knows, right? I bet Stephen Crowder didn't expect that he'd end up where he is. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's very difficult, really, to, and I think. Here's the thing as well. I think giving it out as a sort of de facto advice, right, guys, this is what you should do. Get married, find a good woman, get married in your, mid to late 20s. Yeah. Start knocking out a load of kids. I think it's bad advice because a lot of these guys are just going lambs to the slaughter. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, because these are guys who are listening to this stuff. They're going, yeah, these trads are right. Yeah, man, and they're going to do it. But they don't have any of the knowledge that you have, or they haven't amassed the kind of experience that you guys or any of us have. So they're just going to get chewed over and spat out.
Another thing too is that the thing is that right, being a Tradcon, etc. 1950, sure, go ahead, do it. You know what I mean? Women were different back then, but the problem is that the Tradcons, I've always used the analogy, they're basically giving these men a butter knife and telling them go into the gunfight. And it's like, okay, I'm going in there with my butter knife. Okay, everyone else has a butter knife, right? No, they replaced those butter knives since 1950, and they're fucking machine guns now. And the women have the machine guns, right? And the guys don't understand, right, that you're fighting a fight that you can't necessarily win. And then on top of that, when you get into a marriage, you get into a serious relationship, as the man, you're the one putting at way more risk. Because the woman has everything to gain from leaving you. But the Tradcons don't talk about this. They're just saying, go out there and get married blindly, etc. No, because the things that kept women in check are gone, guys. Yeah. And that's why I always tell these Tradcons, and they try to sit there, but it's not religious, and the Bible, and the Quran, etc. And I'm like, yo, that's great. Go to one of these countries, right, where that's strong and the shame is still there. Then you might be able to do it. Yeah. Right? But in the West, fuck no.